What's up, Hara? We'll get started here in just a moment. What's up, everybody? As you guys are filing in, if I can remind you to try to tweet out the room, that'll help fill it up. We'll get this place rocking, get a lot of good discussion going. I can see Christine with her cool new superhero, Abby, and I like it.
Christine, you are my superhero.
Thank you. Thank you. And, thank you. Shout out to the spider that bit me to help me become Spider-Woman.
It's true. Can't wait till the superpowers really kick in. Or maybe they already have kicked in, but I know it's going to be amazing.
Wouldn't it be cool if your Spidey sense was FUD in the market?
Imagine, no. That would be so great.
I could help everybody.
She's like, I'm sorry, guys, I've got to go. I'm sensing a real FUD sense, and I've got to go do something. I don't know what you do then.
A rug pull in the market is coming. I can feel it.
Yeah, and everyone just steps out, or I'm like, it's heating up, guys. Let's all go in heavy.
Maybe that is what's going to happen. We don't know what fighters, what powers they could give us.
Fingers crossed.
I've loved reading all the news events over the weekend. And, we always say crypto don't sleep. And maybe that implies that stocks do over the weekend. But certainly the news stories around stocks don't stop over the weekend. There's always just chatter of what's going on and what's going to happen in the next week.
Absolutely. And I know there's a lot of, there's so much. I feel like there was so much news dropped over this weekend, especially and usually it's one sector heating up, but it seems like there's a few that are pretty active right now and we should be looking at.
For sure. Well, if you're just in here, this is the Traderverse. I don't know if I'll call this the Power Hour or not, but it's the Market Monday. It's Moon Monday, and we are going to have some fun here today. We do this Monday through Friday. We'll show up here on Spaces or on our Discord, and there we will talk everything from crypto to NFTs to stock, just anywhere in the market we want to discuss. And a couple of weeks ago, a lot of the team was over at NYC or NFT NYC. And that was the kind of the focus of our conversation for the week. And last week, we almost talked exclusively about crypto. But this week, we want to incorporate a little bit more stock talk into this, a little more stock. So with that, we're going to pick a few topics that were really important over the weekend. I'll remind you in here, if you can, to hit that lower right button on your screen and tweet out the room. That will help get everybody in here as possible. And that way we can just have a full room and just have this place really rocking. But Christine, did you, I know your head's in stocks quite a bit with the OTC Club. Any particular stories that just really jumped out at you over the weekend?
As far as the OTC goes, it's the market, and I know Tigress is right there and she could speak with me on this, is the OTC market has been pretty gloomy lately. And for example, I've been heavy for a long time in and that's an OTC stock, and it's a CBD stock or whatever. They dropped some pretty good news today, and then for some reason everyone sold, completely sold, it just went completely down. And I don't even know what's going on right now with OTC. And a lot of the people in OTC, they feel like it's a very it's just in cold phase right now. So a lot of them are jumping on small caps, options, big boards, and everything like that. I know that as far as big boards go, Metaverse stocks are heating up, and I think that's something that we should definitely look at. And stocks that have to do with crypto mining or Bitcoin and stuff like that, weed stocks, right? So
think we discussed. I think you're talking about the three M's there. The marijuana, mining, and the metaverse, right? So yeah, there's
that's what my spidey senses said.
that's what your spidey sense is, like marijuana. Now that would be a horrible spidey sense, right? Or maybe that's what some of our spidey sense always is, just the whisper. But yeah, marijuana, mining, and certainly the metaverse. All of these, and with the mining and the metaverse, we have a little crossover with crypto as well. Because whenever we talk about the metaverse, we're not just talking about Facebook. You could also just be talking about like Nvidia, the stock for it, because the demand now in a bull run like this can create such a demand for those graphics cards. And then now we're going to get even more into it as we get into blockchain gaming and all of that. So Nvidia as a company, the demand is there. It's just, can they deliver on that? And if so, is that a good buy?
And
I mean,
NVIDIA is NVDA, if you guys are wondering what the ticker symbol is.
yeah, they got their hands in just about everything, like from self-driving cars to mining rigs with your GPUs to gaming. I mean, the supply chain issues that are going through, they're predicting through 2023 is their biggest hurdle. Like, there's enough demand for their products ever. It's just, can they manufacture enough of it to supply everybody?
Man, that's got to be a real, kick in the nuts for them, because they've got a product. They've got a product that everyone wants. Matter of fact, the price that they put out their product is obviously, well taken in, because whenever there are shortages, the demand is so high that people will sell, those graphics cards on the third-party markets for, double and triple and quadruple the original price of it. It's amazing. It's just too bad that the supply chain issues can keep them down. But yeah, they've got, their own Omniverse platform that they released long ago that does like 3D simulation. There's a lot good for NVIDIA for sure. But yeah, those supply chain issues could ultimately hinder them, because if you can't put a product to market, or at least in a sufficient quantity, then ultimately you don't really have a product, right? If you just have one that only a few people can get.
And right now, I think NVIDIA it's at 294.96, and it's down 2.96% today. So it's at a dip.
Yeah, I wonder if it's dipping because of supply chain issues, because like I said, I just can't imagine it dipping from demand.
It's a great long hold, just because once that clears up and
It
society
should be.
keeps going, like self-driving cars is going to be a huge thing, in the next 5 years. Like they're using so much of this new tech future, and they're like the big dogs in it. Like it's something that you just buy, you hold, you buy on dips, like you pro the Doge, say you buy, you hold, it dips, you buy. It's one of those kind of stocks. I messed the quote up, but you guys get the point.
I got what you mean, and not you don't have to get the perfect quote. But yeah, you're right. If you're looking at fundamentals of what drives a stock, and I'm not talking about just like quarterly reports or anything, but I'm just talking about the product that they're making and the demand for their product, whether it be GPUs and, like you said, just chips that may be used in self-driving cars, or even, I own a NVIDIA Shield streaming box. That's how I watch, Netflix and whatnot. I mean, they're involved in just about everything. And so if you believe in that, and that will continue, then sure, it seems like a great long-term hold.
And how about let's get into Facebook. They're supposed to change into Meta, right? So Facebook's ticker symbol is still there. And then but there's a ticker Meta already. Is that theirs?
Good question.
I don't
Anybody?
think so. I don't.
Okay.
They announced when they did the big announcement what the new ticker would be. I'll have to look it up 1 second. Let me look.
I thought it was gonna be Meta, META. But it does say
Meta listed funds trust Roundhill Ball Metaverse. And it says Meta ETF crosses 250 million in assets under management. And then the tickers under that article from PR Newswire is Facebook, Meta, and Nvidia.
I mean, that sounds, just from that ticker at the bottom, if that's associated with that article, that makes me think that that's what it is.
They will be under the ticker of MVRS.
Oh, MVRS.
Yeah.
So is that just like a sympathy play that is just getting thrown into thrown into the freaking ring because it's called Meta?
Potentially.
Hey, good for good
Good
for
for them, right?
yeah. They get all this press. Yeah, if your name was Meta or even Metaverse and you named it for that something 20 years ago, you came up with a company called that. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of press right now, and who knows what that is. But it sounds like MVRS. That's interesting that will be their ticker symbol. So what
NVR.
do you,
December 1st is when that goes into effect as well.
So
okay.
Facebook right now, so if you hold shares with Facebook, it'll just transfer over. And it already says when you enter the ticker symbol FB, it says Meta Platforms. Like it doesn't even say Facebook anymore. So that ticker symbol really is just what they're waiting for. It's going for 349.27 today. Do you guys own any Facebook or do you own any Meta?
I do not. I do not. I don't know if Rick does or not, but I do not own any Facebook or Meta in that sense. But here's the thing. Maybe we should have this discussion is was this necessarily a good move for them, because they definitely needed to do something. It was kind of the social network of the boomers, and that may have just eventually just kind of withered away. They had to do something. They owned Oculus. It kind of made a little bit of sense, so I can understand why they wanted to make that change. And ultimately, I think from a business sense, it probably was a good move, and it makes me more tempted to own shares in
Me
Meta.
too. I was staring at that today as well, Steve. Like I was like, maybe it's a good time before they go ahead and switch it over. And it looks like they've been working on it for a long time. And I think I would want to bet that they know exactly what they're doing. And to make this huge shift, they have to be super confident that they're going to blow people's minds with what they're going to present.
Hey guys, I mean, by all means, not an expert, but I think the meta symbol, that's an ETF, right? So obviously that has a bunch of meta plays in it. Just my perspective on Facebook, I think I did see an interview with Zuckerberg, right? But essentially, I mean, they invested in that VR technology 7 years ago. They still haven't really done much with it. It's certainly a good direction. I think they need to do something for the stock to get it going. But I think I've seen numbers where just to get up to speed, they need to invest a lot of money in the next few years, right? So that's definitely going to affect the bottom line. But in terms of meta plays, I mean, I think for me, rather than going with Facebook, which is more of an ecosystem play, maybe you need to look at things like, Unity, for example. They're
Oh,
really
yeah.
right, they're really high, right? I mean, they do 2D and 3D animations, right, for games and so forth. Even Roblox, right, would be a good one in the space. And Disney is something that I like because they control all the content. Obviously, there's more at play with Disney. But if I was to rate my top three, I would put Unity, Roblox, and Disney. Facebook, I'm just a little wary. I think it's getting a lot of publicity now, but really they need to spend a lot of money over the next 6 years. I mean, 6 months or even a year, right?
Didn't they say their budget for it is 10 billion?
Yeah, exactly, right. So that's going to hit the bottom line at some point, right?
Right.
So I think people are just jumping on this. I would even put Microsoft ahead of these guys, right? Because they have the Xbox and they could obviously quickly jump into something with Meta, right? So I'm really weary of Facebook in this space, right?
I love what you just said. I think a couple of comments is, you know, in order for them to do what they want to do, they have to do it at a Facebook level. Like they have a reputation of having billions of users, and if they're going to service to their user base, they got to do it at a huge scale. You
Right.
see other metaverses like the Blocktopias, the Sandbox, the Decentraland, which Christine is a huge fan of. Um, there's a lot. Like people are more patient with a smaller project that grows. When you're already a behemoth like Facebook, you have to that's your standard. Like you can't start small and be like, all right, I guess we're gonna dip our toes in metaverse. So there needs to be a lot of money, and I think Facebook's done a really good job of ostracizing their customers, and that's hence like a lot of younger people don't use Facebook anymore, so they have to like now market to a younger generation again. When a lot of us don't really care for Facebook, and I really loved your comment about Roblox. Roblox actually doubled their year-to-year revenue because of the youth that they've targeted, the gamings that they have. Like, so, I think it's going to be a big struggle. And I think that Metaverse, they bought Oculus, time ago. Um, this is how they saved their company from going MySpace, like, before, because, social medias do fizzle out and phase out, and this is how they're trying to rebrand themselves to be relevant again. So I agree with everything you said.
But I wonder if what you just said, Rick, as far as, they're having to remarket to a younger audience really isn't part of their community right now. I wonder if that means that a further dip is ahead of them before, if they kind of have to stub their toe for, months or even a year to kind of rebrand themselves to eventually kind of come out of that maybe stronger than they were before. As far as from an investor standpoint, what he just said was absolutely right. People are going to be needing unity. They're going to be needing to make that right now. So that makes that more of a hot up right now, as to where Facebook may be more of a long play, but maybe it's not a play right now to make, because who knows, maybe it's going to dip further while they spend money to try to acquire this young user base again, because right now it's cool to be on Facebook.
No, it's not. And they said in the press release that they wouldn't be, I think, at full capacity with this Meta platform for another 3 years. So there's tons of time for other people to develop and continue to build what they're building.
Especially if
Blocktopia.
they're doing it before
Say
them.
what?
Especially if they've been doing it before Facebook.
Right. I don't know if people in the audience have seen Blocktopia, but like the graphics in that are sick. And like I'm kind of bullish on what they're doing, and I'm not a huge Facebook person, so I haven't been for many years now. So
I just wanted to remind everyone what Hera was saying his top 3 are. So if people want to look into it, is ticker symbol U, and then I think he said Roblox, right? I think that's like ROBLX, I don't know. And then Disney. So if you guys want to look into those, what he was saying, he would put those before Facebook.
yeah,
And
and
then
I didn't even really think about Disney. Like that's a really good play.
Disney's actually heavily involved right now with I think it's Vivi and Omi and like their NFTs, and so they're
Yeah.
touching
with Disney. They're almost dropping something, I don't know about daily, but very, very often, that's a Disney material. So yeah, they're definitely trying to use that a lot. Now, how that plays with their their stock price. I mean, I think it definitely helps with demand. They're right here in the middle, and all this intellectual property. I definitely think that could work out well for them.
Yeah, Disney is they have their hand in there. We'll just see how much of their hand is in everything. Today it's or right now 158.25. It's at a dip of 0.84%.
Everything's dipping.
Yo.
What's up, Jay?
Okay.
Hello there, bro.
Hey, what's up? You got any thoughts on any of this and in the metaverse and any kind of stocks that might be a little bit hotter during this time? Everybody's interested in Metaverse as a Facebook, but there's so many other groups that might do well in this.
I don't got any shares of any stocks, man, at the moment.
Oh, well, then I guess it's good that you're here so you could hear what is good or might be good in the market.
Hey, Christine.
Hello.
I like your new picture.
Thank you.
Don't hurt me.
You want to tell your story, Christine, of why you're Spider Woman?
So I don't know when it happened, but I got bit on my hand, and then it was like my hand was getting hot. And I was like, what's going on? And then first it was like my finger was swelling up, like my middle finger, and I'm like, whatever, I got bit, who cares? And then I was like, okay, I got bit, and we have like black widows around everywhere outside. So I'm like, okay, it's probably like a baby one or something. And then as time went on, like hours later, I'm like looking at my hand, I'm like, oh, it's spreading. And it's like I'm losing a knuckle now. And then I was like, okay, it's fine. It's probably just irritated. Well, I even carried on to the next day because everyone's like, just go to the doctor. Just go to the doctor. Like, you never know. And I'm like, no way. Like, I have stuff to do. I need to go in Decentraland and play in the metaverse. Anyways, so I ended up taking Benadryl, Tylenol, whatever. And the next day I woke up, looked at my hand, and literally I couldn't see any of my knuckles or anything. And it was like spreading to my wrist. And I have a guy hand now. I posted it. And then
that tweet killed me.
Yeah, I ended up going to the hospital, and they were like, oh, yeah, your hand is swollen.
You tagging Zach was really funny.
Because everyone does that little stock trader photo with their Rolex, right? And they're like, oh, treat yourself. I was like, this is a good time for that to have a man hand. So wanted to join in on the fun, but that's what happened. So now I'm Spider Woman.
Your man hand, or the way you describe your man hand, I feel like that doesn't look like the way my hand looks. So maybe I need to get a spider bite and find.
Oh my God. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. So we're glad you're okay, and
Thank
you
you.
know,
Thank
we're
you.
excited to see Christine's superpowers that she gets from this. You know, I'm going to call it a radioactive spider, and you never know. She might. We said earlier she might be able to detect FUD from miles away. She might be able to know when rug pulls are happening, or she might just be able to, you know, sling a web and go from building to building. Who knows? We really don't know. So yeah, we'll find out as that
Oh,
goes.
Yeah. And how about let's do I know EVs, that the EV sector a lot of people are
Ooh,
talking
yeah.
about. What do you guys think about that?
Well, two big stories, and we should cover both of them. And first is Elon selling his shares, or many of his shares of Tesla. And then I want to talk Rivian as well, because they just had an IPO, and that thing came out the gate pretty hot, just because EVs are rather hot right now. What do you guys think of, first of all, Elon putting out a Twitter vote that says, "Should I sell some Tesla stock?" And do you think that vote actually, you know, anything was riding on that vote? Was he going to sell or not sell based on the results of that poll?
I think he knew. Like, I think he knew what the result of that poll was going to be going in. Like, he's got enough backlash for, I think it was a little over a year ago. He sold like all of his homes and like started to rent because he was getting so much slack about being a billionaire and, oh, it must be nice in your ivory castle kind of stuff. And he was like, all right, cool. Then I'll sell all my homes and rent. It doesn't stop him from being a billionaire, but I think he really does listen to the social media community just because that's kind of the persona. You can see what he's done with Doge, and he kind of influences the crypto markets to a degree. So it
Oh, I
was a
think
very
to a degree.
bold thing.
Yeah, he really does. And just looking at the numbers, he sold 6.9 billion worth of stock. But it did say that some of these sales were in. Some documents show that he knew he was going to sell before even that poll.
Yeah, it's when you're a C-level exec like that, you have vesting schedules. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he still owns more than 166 million shares in the company, it says. But
Yeesh.
him doing that did cause Tesla to go down by 15.4% for the week. And it said it's its worst performance for Tesla in 20 months.
It's a
So
great time to get in though if you want cheaper shares.
that's right.
We know what he does. This will happen and then he does something crazy and then it booms up all crazy. And people love Elon. Like I think like the younger generation too love Elon and they help push him up. Whatever he does, they like love it. So
What's his social media presence really helps out, I think. I mean, the fact that, name me a major C-level exec that will, down
all
69 420 and all our little inside jokes that we have on Twitter. He's a part of it. I mean, we could do the one of us gif, and it would fit with him. I mean, he's a little odd. He's unique, but at the same time, he is, I can see why the younger generation likes him, because he does embrace social media like the younger generation. He doesn't, stray from it. He seems to really kind of have a lot of the same ideals. And EVs, as far as an electric car, I think that is the future. I mean, I could probably go on a whole episode one day telling you guys my vision for self-driving cars, and he has that vision too. So I think what he sees the future as is the way a lot of people see that we could be. It's just he's in a position to actually make it happen.
yeah, today it's at 989.59, which is a great price for Tesla and it's negative. It's down 4.24% today. I don't know where what do you guys think? You guys think it's going to dip more from where it's at 989 or you guys think it's going to probably start consolidating or picking up from here?
I have no idea. Like, if you've been following for a while, I've always been like Tesla's very, very, very much overvalued, from a fundamental standpoint, but nobody seems to care. And like, which is fine, which is fine. And what they're doing is next level. I think, the energy storage aspects of their businesses, like, really the bread and butter of these gigafactories. It's just kind of, it's outrageous, and just kind of tying in the Rivian piece. Rivian came out with like, I think something like $100 billion market cap, and they don't have that many sales at all. Like, so, like they're valued more than GM is, and they don't even, like, I can't buy one of them. Like, I know they have 100,000 vehicles going to Amazon, which is a great start, and from what it looks like, they have a great product that, there's a lot of will they, won't they scam, like kind of Nikola sort of rolling things down hills and stuff. But they seem to have a very much a polished product that will stand the test of
That
time.
seems promising.
And that ticker that Smart Rick is talking about, Rivian, it's RIVN, and it's trading at 144 today, and it's up 11.06% today.
You bring a decent, thought with Rivian is, you can't buy a car right now from them. It gets almost into the NVIDIA conversation as far as, even if you have a fantastic product, if you aren't able to make a supply to meet that demand, eventually that might make it go down. So this is just, not financial here, but I do think with Rivian, I think everybody wants to get in early on an EV stock. So, I think that's a little bit of why it is, pumped so much from those numbers that Christine just gave. And then Tesla, of course, they just had kind of some bad news with their CEO selling so much of the stock. So it kind of is in a dip. As far as your question is, will Tesla continue to dip? Yeah, it might a little bit. I don't know if it's going to just stop, starting today with trading, or if it's going to get back up or anything, but it might still dip a little bit. And then it may eventually come back down to earth as well. But overall, I'm probably bullish on both of them, but I don't know. I don't necessarily have a time frame for that.
How about Lucid, guys? LCID.
I love Lucid. Like if I had to choose between a Tesla Plaid or a Lucid Air, I'd pick a Lucid Air 10 times out of 10, just off aesthetics. It looks like a solid company, but it's the same thing. Like, can't really buy one. It's the production. That's the biggest hurdle for me really getting bullish on these EVs. Like, I feel like most of them are very overvalued, especially like I guess you could call them blue chips, because like they have great products, but like the amount of copper that goes into Sweet Hawk's coming on. He's got great insight on this.
Here we go.
But like the powertrains and all of this stuff, it's going to really change industries. We're going to start to see a lot of car dealerships be done in a completely different way, because you could buy straight from the factory and have it delivered to your house. And it's going to be really interesting to what happens the next 3 to 5 years when it comes to the EV, the infrastructure that it's going to take to have wide scale adoption in EV is also another huge piece of this. What's up, Hawk?
Hey guys, what's going on? I just wanted to join, and what I thought was interesting that Tesla, selling shares, was how much power he put into the overall community to make that decision. And with social media and trading on the uprise, I mean, what a move by Elon to put it into the power of the people's hands in order to make this decision. Well, some of it could have been predetermined. We know that. And him following through with it, right? So that just shows me how much the community is impacting social trading right now.
Yeah, I concur on your statement there, because I really thought that was cool too. Like, he is taking a different stance on, like, he's almost giving the community voting rights on what he does, and it's super duper cool. And I think a lot of companies too might look at that like, hey, maybe we should do something like that, to get the people more involved with our company and what we're doing, and be interested in what we're doing as well.
You don't need to be a board member in order to touch a CEO anymore. Like
right.
It's kind of a really cool period of time that it's just beginning. Like, to be able to tweet at Elon Musk and potentially get a response back, or any brand really. Like I've mentioned before, like the whole Doge community getting co-branded with like Snickers and Axe body spray and Slim Jim. Wendy's talking crap and like to people in DMs, or not DMs but on tweets, and like there's a sense of like consumers can now go out, touch like brands and people, and in a way that we never. You don't have to be in a boardroom in order to impact what these people think anymore. It's quite remarkable, and it's only just beginning when it comes to like this social trading, and more people become retail traders, and it's growing. I can't wait to see like the next estimate of like Coinbase users, and that's something that's definitely on my radar. They had like 68 million user accounts last quarter. I wonder how much it grows next quarter.
Of course it'll grow, especially with this bull market. As far as for Elon putting out the vote first, I think it's good that he did it, because that way it wasn't just a shock that he did it. But I'm under the belief that he's going to do it no matter what, and he knew what the vote would be. So maybe I'm a skeptic there, but I still think it's good that he did it, because it probably softens the blow of a CEO selling a significant amount of shares like that, rather than just putting it around to where everybody can see. Real quick reset I want to do here is this is the Traderverse Market Monday. We always will use the hashtag Moon Monday for this. But what Traderverse is it will be a social network where you can have content creators right there at your fingertips to have everything, charts, news, content creators right there, all in one, even some AI involvement as well, all in one social network. So make sure you follow the account that I'm speaking from right now, which is Traderverse IO, and you can keep up to date with the all the happenings that's happening with Traderverse. Sometime soon, Smart Rick, who's up here on the stage, and I will have a conversation about some of the more nuts and bolts of the Traderverse platform, and you'll want to know about that. But it will be focused around stocks and crypto, so it won't necessarily stay on one half of the sandbox. Just make sure you stick around and follow this account so you can learn as much as possible. So yeah, one thing you just said earlier, Smart Rick, that I liked was the Lucid Air. I loved that. I saw that. Did you see that they were named the car of the year by Motor Trend over the week? So that's a bullish signal for them.
Doesn't surprise me, but yeah, no, like that's like it's a dream car right there. I want one so bad.
It looks good, man. I mean, that's one thing that I think has made Tesla and Lucid and even Rivian, for that matter, so appealing compared to maybe GM and some of their electric their EV tries, is I think these look really good right from the beginning. And I think from a consumer standpoint, not even from an investor standpoint, but from a consumer standpoint, we want to drive something that looks really good. And if I feel that way, thousands of other people are going to feel that way, and therefore it probably is a bullish signal on the stock if just a lot of people want to drive it.
Yeah, I love their marketing and how they kind of troll Tesla. Like even in their original pitch deck, they like trolled them and were like, they compared themselves to Tesla and said they're a pioneer, but they're not luxury. And like having some of that jabs, because most, like I wouldn't say most, but a lot of their devs in engineering came from Tesla themselves. And they're really focused on making the best car, and Tesla does so much outside of just building a car.
That's awesome. I didn't realize they put that in their deck. That's pretty funny that they took a jab at them right there. And hey, there is room. I mean, there's room in just gas engine cars for luxury, obviously. So yeah, if they see themselves as a way to, you've got to set yourself apart, because Tesla, it's pretty much first to market to do this on a substantial scale. And maybe that's just the biggest question, is scale, because Tesla's able to do it, and so far no one else can on this scale.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
then just to touch back, we're talking about Rivian, which is RIVN, and then we brought up Lucid, LCID, and Tesla, TSLA.
I'm going to write that, LCID. All these are good discussions. I like this, and I encourage anyone that is listening on here to keep a pen and paper handy, or at least type it in on your phone or computer while you're talking, because these ticker symbols, we have kind of a topic, obviously, we're talking about, but you want to make sure that you can, look at their own chart and see what they've been doing and kind of make your own decision. And it's good for Christine. You can tell she's done this for some time to give good information like that, so you can kind of move on with that. So yeah, I mean, one thing I like about all this metaverse kind of discussion is how, at least for our topic, it definitely gets into crypto quite a bit, because obviously crypto and the metaverse and NFTs, that really kind of, gets a certain crowd, and then stocks get another crowd. But those two Venn diagrams definitely cross over a little bit, to where, there's definitely interest from both of those two communities in, the stocks that at least have something to do in both. And with the metaverse that we mentioned, and now with EVs, it's still technology. And I think just this group seems to love technology.
Isn't that crazy? And then there's the Bitcoin mining stocks, right? So if you're not doing crypto, but you're in the stock world, you'll want to, because crypto is heating up again, and it's starting to become more mainstream every time it comes up in the different phases. You'd want to get into a lot of the crypto mining stocks, which I know a lot of people talk about Riot, which is ticker symbol RIOT. And then what else is there? Mara.
Yep.
And
Marathon. Yep. Mara.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, like when China unplugged and we had that huge plummet when they banned mining, the hash rate went down to, really low, really almost back to where it was at highs when the unplug happened. And, that was based on North American companies buying a lot of those rigs, or new operations coming along here in North America. So it's going to be really interesting to see, who, how sustainable and long term that business is. And, Bitcoin eventually will run out, but then those, miners need to become validators, and how all that process, shakes out. And one of the things I saw this morning on CoinDesk was a Canadian company, Galaxy Digital, is, I think it's trading at like 33.90 or something like that. I haven't checked it since this morning. It's a, OTC ticker. They actually reported 1,000% revenue year over year off their mining. So that's crazy.
Wow.
What's the ticker symbol on that?
It's, hold on, it's like B something. posted it in chat earlier this morning. 1 second, I'll tell you.
Okay. And while he's checking that, guys, Riot, RIOT, which is, has to do with Bitcoin mining. It's trading right now at 42.62. It's down 3.55% today. And then we have Marathon, ticker symbol MARA. It's trading at 67.18 right now, down 11.51% right now.
It's a BRPHF.
BRPHF.
Yep. So it just reported Q3 earnings of 517 million, which is 400 million more than they did last quarter or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, all businesses are growing quite a bit just because the interest in the space is getting quite a bit. One thing I don't want to skip over that, Rick, you just said is, that hash rate really, the total hash rate really bottomed out there in the beginning of July. And then since then, you're right, it almost made it up to the top again to where, we've pretty much almost recovered from the hash rate, which says that, the interest in some of these mining stocks is there. Now, I know you just gave that some of them are in a bit of a dip right now, but I think long term, people are going to want to, this is a valid business for people to, mine Bitcoin or mine whatever coin they're wanting to get. And yeah, if there's somebody that's a mining company that's actually, whether it be producing the units or, being part of the mining business somehow, then there is, you can see some fundamentals that may truly be able to help these stocks kind of move through this era.
It's infrastructure and everything. There needs to be something that supports the system.
Yeah, so Mara is down a little bit. They did a 500 million debt offering that was announced today, so that could be a reason for some of their dip there. But there are some undervalued ones as well, in my opinion. BITF, Bitfarm, which is a clean energy miner. HUT, HET is another one that I know Gator's big on. So there's a couple undervalued ones as well. Mara and Riot get a lot of the attention, but don't sleep on the other ones that are not mentioned as regularly.
Right, so
BTBT.
what Hawk just mentioned, that's trading at 14.69, down 3.86% today. And then Bitfarm trading at 8.861, and then it's up 0.23% today.
How much did you say it's up?
Up 0.35%.
Oh, point. Okay. Didn't hear that point, and that's why I kind of pulled the.
And Hawk, don't forget about the stock that we met each other in, ARGO Blockchain, which is another OTC. That one is, what is the ticker again? It's ARBK, I believe.
ARBK.
Yep.
Yeah.
F, and they're a UK miner. They have more holding of Bitcoin. Yep. They have more holding than both Riot and Mara combined, and what they have Bitcoin. Yeah. Oh yeah. I that was one thing that Hawk and I couldn't wrap our heads around when we were first talking about it. Was, they've mined more than both of them, and they hold it. They were newer to the OTC. I think QB when they when we were talking about it. I think it was early, like this February, but their holding is just.
Are you there? Did I lose you?
I was like, did I just?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had a phone call come in. Sorry.
So what the ticker is, just in case you guys didn't hear, that Hawk and Rick are talking about, which I'm looking at right now, and that's phenomenal that you guys said, that they mine more than these bigger companies. It's trading at 176. It's down 6.12%, and it's ARBKF, Argo Blockchain, and OTC. Wow, and their 52-week high is 465, trading at 176. Where do you guys see this company going? Do they have any news or any plans?
So the last time I really looked into them, which was, I don't know, about a month ago or so, I think this is just like the overlaying thing that all of these companies are trying to solve, is how do they do this the most sustainable way and rely on green energy. So I think that topic, and I know you mentioned one earlier. I think it's Bitfarms that is BT. I know BT as well is like trying to be 100% green, and I think that's going to be really the key to profitability for them. Is, and it also takes off of our infrastructure itself, and to be able to mine this at a very high lucrative level. which is always going to be key, especially with EV cars coming our way. We're going to need that power grid to charge our vehicles.
Absolutely.
And speaking of power grid, another one that it looks like the whole sector is down today, but CleanSpark CLSK is one that I have entry in from about $14. But talking about the microgrids, which I believe is going to be a big mover in the upcoming years, CleanSpark not only mines bitcoins, but they also do the microgrid energy.
Wow, I'm looking at that one. Yeah, it's trading at 21.38 today, down 0.19%, and their all-time high within the last year is 42.60. So trading at $21 is good.
I remember when that was $1.70. Oh,
Wow.
it's one of those. Yeah, one of those that were just like, only if. I mean, I definitely caught the wave, but I had no idea the how crazy it would be. Same thing with Mara. I owned a little bit of Mara at $4, and I never would have thought that would have been that much of a surge. But profits.
Right now is a good time, guys. I think especially with whether you care about, crypto, metaverse, and all the NFT world, whether you care about that or not, or even the EVs, a lot of people are like, I hate all that. Okay, you hate it, but it doesn't hurt to invest in it because it's going without you. So,
Man, that's a great point. What you invest in does not necessarily mean it's what you are a consumer of. So maybe you hate EVs. Maybe you just say, I love the feel of a gas engine.
yeah, do you hate money or something? Like, you hate electric vehicles, but it's going to go without you. So just invest, find a company that you actually like, and do some DD on it, or look up some other people's DD that they package together. By the way, Traderverse will be having that packaged up when the platform is available. But you want to look into that because it's going to go without you, and you want to get in early. Everyone wants to get in early, right? That's the key. And there is, like what Hawk said, there's a lot of other companies that in Smart Rick found that are mining and are doing a lot more than Mara and these bigger companies, and you could get in even lower than what Mara and Riot are trading on.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really excited about Traderverse for, obviously, maybe a little bit biased, but Rick and I had met, doing due diligence together. Same with Tigris, who I see's up here doing due diligence. The collaboration aspect of Traderverse, where we're able to take the information that is given to us through our artificial intelligence and then collaborate with the community on these due diligence packages, been able to save them and export them. All of the other integrated social medias like Twitter, StockTwits, Reddit, Facebook, those type of things can really bring some value to these unfound companies where eyes aren't being seen. So I'm excited to collaborate with the community and find some of these gems and then get rewarded for, being right, through our token and reward system is something that I'm very, very excited about.
Absolutely.
The getting rewarded part to me really sets Traderverse apart, to be able to, do some due diligence, which will help your portfolio to be able to get several different other opinions and just try to figure out what you're investing in, and then to be rewarded for it. I mean, I think that could be definitely something that can help out the community.
Yep. And we brought someone up requesting the tired man of life. Hi. You could unmute your mic. It's on the bottom left if you wanted to speak on any of these stocks. Or what is it? At White Zero House. Hi.
What's up?
We got rugged.
Well, we do have one other M to cover, if no one wants to speak about it. And we've covered mining. We've covered the metaverse. We might need to talk about some marijuana. Have we anybody have anything in the cannabis industry that is really big and they think it may be a time? I think it went through a slight dip over the last few days, but anybody have any cannabis stocks that they think might be something to look at?
I know people are talking about Sundial again.
I don't really like Sundial. That's just my personal opinion. I just think that float is way too big, and I'm more worried about American ones for when the breakthrough happens and like how that is monetized. And I think Hawk knows a little bit about it, and I would be curious to see if Tigris knows, since she lives in that OTC world. That's where most of these American cannabis companies kind of live right now. So I would definitely refer to either of them.
I don't do many pot stocks.
Yeah, I called out the run in marijuana I think a couple weeks back, I was monitoring MSOS, which is a cannabis ETF fund. What I like to do is look at the broader markets and see the ETFs and see how those are running, and then kind of narrow it down from there and look at the value plays within that sector itself. And a couple weeks ago, you saw that MOS.
I got him.
I saw that MSOS, curling up from about 25. I think it's at 32 now. So, yeah, this morning the weed plays were going. Kern, KERN, was moving pretty nicely. There's another one, one second.
YOLO is another one.
Yeah, TCNNF, True Leaf Cannabis Corp. That one's moving nicely. So you do see an uptick right now. I do not like to chase these plays. I like to get out in front of them. So that's why I monitor the overall ETFs for movement first, and I look at the broad sector. So I'm looking at the next ones.
One day they'll legalize it.
What did you ask, Rick?
I said one day they'll legalize it, and then there'll be a huge surge. So it's not a bad idea to collect it while it's not legal. And when it does, there'll be a huge green rush, I guess you could say, of cannabis.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I like what he had just said about looking at the ETFs kind of for movement first as kind of a signal, and then to get into what Smart Rick just said. And that is whenever the switch is flipped and all of a sudden now there's a legal precedent and there's not as many barriers to selling cannabis. Whenever that happens, yeah, the green rush absolutely can happen. And these stocks are definitely going to be able to see that because it's going to be a big industry for them. And I think everybody's preparing for that right now because they feel like that legal barrier is going to be removed sometime soon. As I was looking for some cannabis stocks, another one that I found that's not directly in the cannabis industry, but maybe supplies the cannabis industry is Miracle-Gro, Scott's Miracle-Gro, which was SMG. It was a suggestion that it may do well as it becomes, as growers starting needing more and more and more, it may be a play as well to be in the cannabis industry. But yeah, all these are big if that if that legal barrier gets removed.
Yeah, the marijuana industry is really interesting. Colorado, Washington's, and the Oregons of the country, they're very much regionalized, and they're more like private company operations that I wouldn't say there hasn't been a company to really come in and try to monopolize this industry yet because there isn't a legal precedence that allows them to. But I know Budweiser has kind of come up forth and said that they want to get in that, and the same thing with some of the tobacco companies trying to spin and stay relevant. So it'll be really interesting to see what it looks like when everything gets legalized, because it has to, it literally has to. I think the pandemic obviously slowed that from happening because obviously there's bigger fish to fry when it comes to what our federal government's doing right now. But it's definitely a sector that I'm looking at, and it's something that has a lot of opportunity going forward. It's kind of untapped in a way because of the current state of the law federally.
But soon as the discussion happens like that, I'm kind of like you. I think it probably will happen, and probably even in the near future. The government's been looking at so many other directions here recently. I don't know that it's top of mind for them, but as soon as it does, and whenever it does, I think already a savvy investor is probably already looking into this space, knowing that it's coming, maybe kind of piling up, call it at a discount, because right now, obviously, the legal landscape does not make it the play that it will be if the legal landscape is changed. So I think a savvy investor is just getting heavily involved in the space because they know that the playing field will change.
I agree. Someone also, before I touch on this DM that I got about a metaverse stock they wanted everyone to look at, there's also Kern that I've heard people talking about in the marijuana sector, and it's trading at 317, and today it's up 9.69%. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Stock Swing Alert put something out about that this morning.
Yeah, so that one's a good one. And the all-time high for the last year is 1044, and it's trading at 317, up 9.69% today. So that's something.
I'm pretty sure they're a service-based company as well, kind of like a Weed Apps, where it's weed as a service, where I don't know if it's delivery but it's something to do with technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
A good one to watch list for sure.
That will definitely be a service. Is basically weed delivery. No doubt that that will be a service at
It
some
already is, but it's just some guy that comes to your house.
Some dude.
Got to know the number to text, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I got a DM and he said he was driving, but he wanted us to look at SLGG. It's in the Metaverse sector. So it's SLGG. It's trading at 396. It's down 1.74% today.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
gaming company.
Super.
so he wants to
Yep.
know your thoughts or our thoughts on that.
So competitive gaming is like it's an interesting space, and I think there should be some thought. And I don't know, I haven't done any research on them or AESE in a while, but those are like two of the competitive esports companies that I'm aware of that trade on the Nasdaq that are really interesting, and to see what happens when the metaverse stuff rolls out and like what kind of avenues that they could get into. But I don't have any thoughts outside of that. I just know that the competitive gaming space is growing like crazy, especially with the younger generation.
For sure, the competitive gaming space is huge, and I just think gaming is going to continue to grow, whether we're talking blockchain gaming or just competitive gaming or however you want to say it. I looked at the 6-month chart of this SLGG. Looks like it touched about $6 at its high, and what is it now at 397. So yeah, it's definitely. I feel like the industry is definitely growing, so I feel like money will continue to go into the industry. I haven't looked enough into SLGG itself to be able to, say anything educated on it. But as far as the industry is concerned, yeah, I think certainly it's going to continue to grow, and therefore more money will flow into it.
I'm not sure if they have earnings today. That's what one of the apps suggests. I'll tell you what I think of them after earnings. Whoever asked that question for sure. But as a broad sector, gaming on the blockchain is not going anywhere. It's only going to gain in popularity. There's no doubt about it. And being able to trade these items like lives or shields and swords, it's going to be a hot commodity in my opinion for sure. So I think we're just seeing the start of this. And long term, I love this sector.
Yeah, it's NFTs right there. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
I said it earlier in the talk. I don't know if you're in there yet, but like Roblox, that's like a huge thing in Roblox, and that's one of the reasons why they've, everyone wants a Roblox gift card so they can buy more skins. And when that happens, when you can take it off the platform and put it in your wallet and trade it and buy and sell on a secondary market on OpenSea like you can on like the central land, like that's the future of gaming in my opinion. So how these gaming stocks like the GG or AESE, how they, maybe they give away prizes that are NFTs that you can now wear in games, like that's huge in my opinion.
There's so much that they can do in the way of promotion that I definitely think this will be a snowball effect. I mean, already gaming is just a huge industry. Put it onto blockchain and it gets even bigger because I think, the incentivized play is just big, is a big way of thinking, and certainly will incentivize more people to play. Obviously, I mean, it's incentivized play. So yeah, I'm excited for that whole industry and all the stocks that, are in that space. I'm definitely excited for as well. Well, guys, I am sad to say we have come to the end of our time together as far as on here. But I know Christine puts out her whole schedule for the whole day, and you can follow her around all throughout Twitter Spaces, and you can hear all of her great insights as she goes all around the web and does all these smart things with her spider bite, and just overcomes a swollen man hand.
Yeah, well, we got NF Tuesdays tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah. NF Tuesdays we will do tomorrow. We'll still, we always want to do a little bit of all worlds combined with, stocks, crypto, NFTs. But yeah, on Tuesdays, we kind of have it set aside as an NFT day. So yeah, make sure you bring your thoughts. Love to have more people up here joining us in the conversation, while Christine and I and Rick and all can always, carry an entire conversation. I want to hear from you. So don't be afraid to send a message to me on the Traderverse account and come in here and say, hey, what up, and give me an idea that you would like to hear spoken about. I know Christine got in a DM about the SLGG. Those type of DMs are welcome, whether it be right during while we are broadcasting or at another time. I want to hear from you, and yeah, let's do it. Let's have a good interactive spaces because it's always fun. Until then, did I hear somebody else wanted to say one more thing?
I just, but thank you guys.
No. All right. Well, thank all of you. Until then, we will see you tomorrow at the exact same time. Let's talk a little NFTs. Until then, I love all of you. Later.
Bye.
Peace.